Good evening, everybody. I do hope you are all well. I would just wait for some of you to come and join. Hopefully, we are broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. But please do give me a thumbs up. Do pop me a note in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or watching me on the rewind a little bit later on. So I will just hang fire for you. So first in the house tonight is Maxine. Hello, Maxine. Maxine, can you see me? Can you hear me? All okay? Do let me know. And tell me what you've all been up to. I have been preparing ready for my next show on Jewellery Maker, which is on Wednesday. So really looking forward to that. Hello, Steph on YouTube. Lovely that you can join us and welcome. Carol is with us as well. Yes, all okay. Fantastic. So, yes, I've been dodging the rain as well. Yesterday, I didn't manage to dodge the rain. I go out for a bike ride pretty much every day if I can. It's about 10 kilometres just down the road. Beautiful, beautiful countryside. And my partner said, you need to time it right today because we've only got certain blocks of sunshine today. I said, oh, it'd be fine, it'd be fine. Anyway, went out on my bike. It was sunny when I left. Absolutely poured. But there was actually something quite therapeutic about being in the rain, apart from having a bit of a soggy bottom, which is probably more information than you need. Hello, Jan. Lovely to have you all join. What have you all been up to? Maxine says she has 2 grandsons here. So you're pretty busy then, Maxine, by the sounds of it. Now, tonight, we are going to be doing some necklaces using waxed thread and large hole beads. Now, I know some of you perhaps prefer to work with gemstones and glass beads, but I have to say, I never used to be a fan of acrylic beads until I actually saw what you can do and what they look like. There's some absolutely beautiful beads and they've got such a gorgeous finish on them. And if you go into any of your high street shops like your Marks and Spencers, your Monsoon, your Fat Face, Next, a lot of it is acrylic and you'll still pay £20 to £30 for it, probably at the least. So what we're going to do is look at adding a little bit extra to it by adding some colourful knots in between. So there's one of them. You don't have to go chunky. We've got some that are slightly smaller as well in the group thread, but I love the finish on those. And then we've got these end caps here and some chain. And as you can see on this one, they are quite large. On this one, you can see a little bit more predominantly the knots. So let me just show you up on the neck. They are big, but they don't actually look that big when they're on. And besides anything else, I love statement necklaces. So that's what we're going to do today. Hello, Jan. Lovely to have you join. She loves running in the rain. Last day of our holiday in Scotland. There's something very nice about it. I don't like starting off my bike ride in rain, strangely enough. But if I'm already on my bike ride and it starts raining, I'm fine because I'm already in the rhythm of doing it. Hello, Carrie. Lovely to have you join. The depth of colour is beautiful, isn't it, Jan? Hello, Jen. Lovely to have you join. Jen's watching on YouTube. You're liking the look of that. So what we're going to do, we're going to go on the overhead and we'll get stuck straight in. But as always, do ask any questions. It doesn't matter whether you're watching me live or a little bit later on, because I will come back and I'll answer all of your questions as well. Now, if you watch back on YouTube, what you can actually do is you can pause it. You can pause it on Facebook as well, but you can zoom in, put 2 fingers on the screen, you can stretch it out and you can zoom even closer in. So that's just something worth knowing. So here we go. Let's go on the overhead. Now I've chosen some slightly different beads. These are a wee bit smaller than the others. So we've got some red ones and some green ones. Now, this is a pretty straightforward project. What I would say is the most difficult thing in this is actually working out how many threads you can get away with in going through your beads. Strangely enough, whilst a lot of the colours are the same thickness, I found that they still differed in terms of how much I could get away with. Now I've got these 1mm threads and I've got these 1/2 mil threads. Now today I am going to combine a 1mm thick thread with two 0.5 of a metre thread. Anyone else frozen? Oh, I do hope not. Hello Carol, thank you for joining. So I'm going to go, to be on the safe side, for 2.5 meters. We'll work out what I've got left at the end. So we're just going to cut that. I have frozen. Oh no. Right. Not on mine. Hopefully I'm not going to have any more problems again. I'll just carry on, and perhaps if you can still hear me, it's just come out, refresh your browser and go back in again, or you are back, brilliant, or hop on to YouTube and see if it's any better on there. Now I'm just cutting my lengths of thread. So I've got 3 lengths. I've got 1 mil and 2 1/2 mil thick. And I'm going to bring both the ends together. Has everybody got me back now? Right, there we go. So I'm going to get all the ends together like so. So I've cut 2.5 meters or thereabouts. And then I'm going to find the halfway point, that loop there. And we don't need too much on the end because the knot is going to actually go up inside the cone. So we're going to do an overhand knot like so and push that through. Now, that's not what we want to do to begin with. I'm having a moment. We want to actually add the knot the other end. I'm getting all in a pickle. All in a pickle. I've got so many patterns going around my head from doing my prep for jewelry maker. Yeah, 2.5 meters of each. I'll work out what I've got left at the end. Right, so you want to knot the end with the tail. It's really important that you do get the right end, because otherwise it makes it super complicated to get your beads on the other end. Okay, so we're going to shimmy along and to the join. Let's move these out of the way. That's our middle point. And what we're going to do is create our own big eye needle. I'm using 0.25 millimeter wire. Shouldn't really use your scissors, but I'm being naughty, I'm going to. And bring both the ends together. And then just actually I'm having a moment. Right. Rewind. Okay. We want to pop the wire through the loop, My brain's frazzled. Been a long day. A good day, but a long day. And then we're just going to twist these. Now, what this does is it enables us to thread on those beads. Now, whilst they're large hole beads, when you're actually working with knotting beads and so on, it's so much easier to create your own big eye needle. So there we go. Now, the other thing that I found quite useful as well, now mine is so chewed up, is your waxing. Okay, this is beeswax, and it really makes it a lot easier to go through your beads if you can just wax that end and a little bit of your thread. It really does. Also, this is a top tip for macrame as well. You know, when you're doing macrame, maybe a square knot macrame, one of the basic knots, is if you find that the knot keeps slipping, if you actually run the beeswax along the thread, it makes it a lot easier. It stops it slipping. Right, okay, so first of all, we're going to thread on one of these red ones. Now, I do hope this is going to go on. See, it's quite tight. I need to go and get my pliers as well. So that's gone on. We're going to thread that all the way to the end. Where are you? Here you are. Like I say, the most difficult part is actually getting it through. Now, what we're going to do is a knot. Now, what I'd recommend is that you either get a T-pin. Now, T-pins are something we use in macrame to pin things onto the board, or you might have a darning needle or something like that. So we're going to do an overhand knot like this, plop that through, okay, and then we're going to pop that T-pin through the loop, and then we're going to tighten that up. And the reason why I love all of these colours is you've got a little bit more, sort of, bit more of an uplift with having the cream in there as well. Hello, Nikki. Right, before you take that T-pin out, thread on your next bead. Now, I need to grab my pliers. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier. Have a little chat amongst yourselves. There we go. Right. Now, I have been doing knotting for a long, long time, and it's not one of my favourite things to do. I'm not going to lie, but it's getting more pleasurable as I go, because I'm finding that there's little tips that you pick up along the way that really, really help to make it go a lot smoother. So just to recap, I've put beeswax on it, which helps it to go through. Now, the other thing is, before you take this T-pin out, thread on your next bead. And because you've got so many threads as well, you want to keep pulling on those threads to make sure that they're all at the same length. Okay, now let's get in a bit closer, shall we? Let's get in a bit closer. So you see this T-pin here, it's still in there. This bead, use this bead to push it up before you pull that out. Okay, so much better. Jan is asking, are those smaller blue beads on the Facebook page too? Yes, there's smaller beads on the Facebook page too. Yeah, they're 8 to 10 mil, I think. So we're just going to do a knot on that one, like so. T-pin, or if you've got a darning needle, that will do. Pop it into your bead mat, pull the knot. You will need to take your time because you've got so many threads. You might find that they don't all come together neatly all at once. So you just need to take a little bit of time. So you can see that cream one there is not quite lying flat. There we go. So we're going to keep that there. And then we're going to add our next one in. I'm going to add a green one in next. Well, it's sort of green. It's kind of a tealy colour. This one's definitely easier to thread on. Jan says, looking forward to making these. I love working with threads and beads. Me too. There's something really, really tactile about working with these. So again, we've pushed that bead up. You might not like the rustic look of those bigger knots, in which case, you know, you don't have to use as many threads, but you will possibly need to do some triple knotting along the way if you don't, because otherwise the thread will just go through the large hole of the bead. Or the other thing you could do is actually have a smaller bead on the end to make life a little bit easier for you. So there we go, we're pulling that. Now on these, I've used 2 times the 1mm, but tonight I am using one of the 1mm and 2.5mm. Hello Kim, thank you for joining. Right, okay, let's add on our next bead. Now on the blue beads that we've got, the blue beads in the thread, they've got some really nice large hole silver beads as well. Sometimes your wooden beads as well will have larger holes in them. Like I say, the trickiest bit really is just getting the threads at the same tension and making sure that you can actually get the threads through your beads. Now what I found happened is I used the, which ones was it? I used the red and the ochre on this one, and I had to beeswax it for it to go through, because every time I tried, it kept snapping my big eye needle that I'd made. So all these little tips really, really do make a difference. Or what I'd suggest is before you cut, try going through and doing a test piece with all the ends together as well. So now you can see you're using that bead to push the knot up against the next one before you pull out the T-pin. But do let me know, has this given you perhaps a little bit of inspiration to try something a bit different? You can also get, you can get larger hole gemstone beads as well. That's something I could order in if anybody's interested. I think they are quite large centre holes as well. But let me know if you've got any, this has given you any inspiration. But I do love the effects of the little sprinkle of the cream in there. Another red one. You could obviously go all the way round in these beads. You don't have to add any chain if you don't want to. But I wanted to show you how you finish off. You finish off the same way, but just skip out the chain element. Right, I'm just pulling these tighter. There we go. But what projects are you all working on at the moment? Do let me know. Now this one needs budging up a little bit. And that's the good thing about having your T-pin in place, I hope. Let's grab some pliers. There we go. Just undo that a little bit because the knot's too far away. And that's the good thing about keeping your T-pin in, is because it's right in the centre, it's not overly easy to undo the knot, but it's a lot easier than it would be if you didn't have that T-pin in place. Right, so that's open that up. Pop that back in there. But I think it's always good for you to all see mistakes as well, so that you know how to get out of it if the same happens to you. So now I'm quite happy that that knot is where it should be. I'm going to push that bead up. Kim is not knitting dog jumpers. Oh, how sweet. How sweet. Right, there we go. Next knot. Pop your T-pin in there. Anybody else? What are you up to right now? Any projects? Any crafting projects? Hopefully those of you that ordered your auction stuff should start receiving your goodies. I think, Carrie, you've got yours, haven't you? Which is good. So you'll all be busy. All be busy with your new projects. I do need to order in for the next auction. And also I need to pull out the winner for this month's Beaders of Beads by Vichil. I shall have to collate all the info first though. Well, Kim does all of that for us. But I need to put it all together. So Nikki is planning this year's Christmas cards. Fantastic, with cards. Kim got her parcel today. Oh, brilliant. And Jan said hers will be waiting when she gets home. Nikki says the kids want to make elastic bracelets. Well, it keeps them busy and quiet, doesn't it? I did some a little while back with Daisy. Now she's only 2. She's so good with her colours, and she just wanted to sort all the beads out into colours, which is really sweet. Hello, Carol. Carol got her parcel today. Oh, that's good. Let me know, because obviously I'm about to put an order in the next couple of days. Is there any particular gemstones that you would like me to see if I can order in? I think carnelian was one of the gemstones mentioned last time. Most I can get, but as you know, I do try and buy when I've got discounts on, so that I can share that discount with you. One of my favourites is smoky quartz, but I don't know if it's just me or if other people like smoky quartz as well. Let me know what your favourite gemstones are. There's not many I don't like, I'm not going to lie. Now, I never used to like black gemstones because I'm not a black person at all. But I have to say, I love black jadeite. I love the black obsidian. I love the golden obsidian, the silver obsidian, and I love all of the carved owls and different bits and pieces you can get with the obsidian as well. Oh, Jan's favourite is smoky quartz. It's so beautiful. It's a very good grounder as well. It just feels very solid, and I don't know, there's just something really beautiful about it. Kim can't spend at the next auction as I have to buy a special baby bean bag. Oh, that's totally understandable. Well, if you don't want to be tempted, I was going to say you can join for a chat, but I know sometimes it's easier sometimes not to, isn't it? Because there's that temptation. And so you've got exciting times ahead, Kim, with your grandbaby. Jan says she's enjoying aventurine lately. Yes, aventurine is really beautiful. Very soft, gentle green, isn't it? Nikki says chrysocolla. Not sure of the spelling. I'm pretty sure that's the right spelling. It looks right to me. Now, chrysocolla, I think that's made up of a few different things, isn't it? That's like a greeny, deep greeny colour, isn't it? I've learnt so many different things about gemstones since being on Jewellery Maker. Boring my partner to bits. Jenny says blue lace agate. Now, blue lace agate, that is really, really beautiful. Jay's is moonstone. Kim loves all the gemstones. Now, that I can totally relate to. I think sometimes as well, your colour, I don't know about you, but your colour palettes change over time, don't they? And also, it's a bit like clothes, I think. Some days you think, oh, I really want bright pink, or, this is me. And then the next day I'm thinking, nah, I fancy a blue or something else. So it's, it varies. It does vary. Oh, Nikki, I have some large crescent moons in stock. Jenny says moonstone. Yeah, moonstone's beautiful. Now, Nikki, I have got some crescent moons in obsidian, rose quartz, aventurine, and clear quartz. So just let me know if any of those are of any use to you. Kim says, I have to match mine to the outfit. Yes, this is it. But it's ridiculous. Honestly, we get to keep all of our jewellery that we make at Jewellery Maker. So you can imagine how much jewellery I have. But it's ridiculous because we're creatures of habit, and you still stick to your same old. So I need really to be putting them out so I've got easy access to them to wear. One of each. Yeah, no worries. No worries at all. Can make that a little bit longer. How are we doing for time? Oh, we got plenty of time. Plenty of time. And plenty of thread, actually. But one thing I can't stand is running out of thread when you're partway through a project, because with things like this, you can't add them in. You've got to start again. Now, just to say, I mean, we don't need to burn the threads on this project, but they don't really work on these particular threads, burning them. You know, normally it sort of singes the ends. These kind of smoke the ends. I think it's because, I think with these, I think they must be waxed cotton. And cotton is a natural fibre, and the natural fibres can't be burnt as easily. Oh, and a pickle at the end here. Nikki says, I saw a tree done on a crescent moon and it looks fab. Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. There we go. So again, pushing that up, pulling that out. Anybody getting any inspiration whilst you're doing this? And question for you is, do you think you would do the whole necklace knotted? Or would you, like me, use part chain, part the way up? Now you can still use this method with thinner beads or smaller beads, but you'd seriously have to play around with the thickness of your thread. The 0.5 mil you might find a little bit easier to work with on standard size whole beads. Oh, they're in a bit of a tangle, aren't they? Let's pull those out. Right. Now, one thing that I haven't put in the group thread that you will need for this, I would imagine most of you have probably got it already, is 0.8 millimeter thick thread. Now, I do definitely have some wire reels. I'll try and put it up tomorrow, but if you do need it, just let me know. Right, just one more. There we go. Let's just take stock of that. There we go. I love the shape of these. They're really quite tactile and lovely. So we're going to do a final knot. Now let me measure what I've got left at the end. So we can take that off the final length, can't we? 40, 80. So you could probably take a 0.5 metre off the original length that I gave. I think it was 2.5 metres. So if you cut 2 metres of each. Oh yes, a chunky bracelet would be good. Right, there we go. Now before I trim that off, I'm going to show you the end parts here. Now 0.8mm wire. And what do I do with those? Oh, I knew I got them all laid out. Right, so these are your cone ends. Let's just pop that in the corner there. Just grab my 0.8mm wire. But do have a look and see what the trends are in your monsoon, in your next, etc. And I think quite often with that, it actually does give you some inspiration in itself. Right, this is the next little bit. Right, let's measure that. I've cut about a 10cm piece, which is probably way too long. Have a little tail underneath, and then we're going to wrap that underneath the knot, like so. You won't actually see it, so it doesn't have to be super tidy. Cut that tail off, bring that up, and then just make doubly sure that that's all secure, and then we're going to trim that off. Now, if you're a bit worried about the knot coming undone, what you could always do is actually paint that with some E6000 glue. Then we're going to pop this cone end on the top so that that sits over the knot and just on top of the end bead. Now, I've cut some lengths of chain already. You can obviously play around with how long you want the beads to be, how long you want the chain to be. I'd first of all measure the length of your necklace and, work out how long you want your necklace to be. And then you can work out really what each section will be. Now, these are your round nose pliers. You're going to bring that round, but don't seal it, because what we're going to do before we seal it is pop your chain on there. Okay, pinch that end with your chain nose pliers and then wire wrap. Then we're going to bring flat nose pliers in, just cut that off at the end and just tidy that up so you haven't got any bits sticking into your neck. And then trim it down as you need to. But it's a really cute, neat finish. And I've got these in gold colour, in silver colour, bronze, antique silver. Okay, and then we just add one of the clasps to one end. Right, I'm just coming off camera a minute. So I can see more clearly. It really shouldn't be this difficult. I think I've managed to get... Have you ever had it where your jump ring or your chain has a slightly magnetic feel to it, or whatever you call it? So we're just going to... Well, that's what I've got on this. So we're just going to close that up. We do the same the other side. Everybody following so far? Tail and your non-dominant thumb. Wrap that a couple of times underneath. Trim off the tail. bring that up like so. Cut the ends off. Cover that knot with the cone end. And then we've got the other part of the chain. Form a part wire wrap loop just over one of the sides. Remember, don't finish it off until you've actually got the chain on. So hook that chain underneath. Clamp the loop and then bring this around a few times. Remember, the more you wrap round, the tighter this becomes here as well. Have the flat part of your cutters against the wire. Take your time just to tidy that up. And then at the end, right, where's my jump ring? Should have another jump ring. There we go. I know I did. Open that up. Sideways action. See this. I don't know if you could see, but whenever I get to that, it seems to have a little bit of a magnet, so it's moving away from the jump ring, which is really bizarre. Anyway, we've got there. I'm just going to pop a little extender chain on there, close that up, give that a little bit of a squeeze. Whoops. Right, and we are done. Let's just zoom out a little bit so you can have a good look. There we go. So you've got your knotted section here, which has got all those pretty knots in between. Then you've got your neat cone ends there, which cover the end knot. And then you've got your chain element there as well. So hopefully you found that giving you a little bit of inspiration. Let's just hold it up so that you can see. So there we are. It's quite a nice sort of statement piece, and it's got a really nice glaze on them as well. And you can adapt that however you like. You could do a full knotted one all the way around and just literally pop those end caps on and then just attach your clasp at the end if you want to. Or you can even add elements of, you know, more chain, whatever suits you. So that's the smaller one. That's the red and the sea green. Now this one is the chunkier red with the sea green. And this one is the big red and the blue. I think that's one of my favourites. Let me know which one's your favourite. Don't forget, all of these bits and pieces are in the group thread, which changes really regularly because we get through quite a lot of stock, don't we, in the beaders group. So that's where you can find the material. So you can find these beads, you can find the chain, you can find the waxed thread in there as well, the cone ends. You can also get the findings from the website, which is this, but at the moment those beads aren't on the website. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you ever so much for joining me, whether you're watching me now, whether you're watching me a little bit later on. And I will see you all very soon. Do not forget to share your makes in our beaders group. Let me see if I have, I don't think I've got the link for that right here, but that's Beaders of Beads by Vichil. We love to see your makes and creations. You guys take care, and we will see you very soon. Bye.